Hey everybody, it's Julie and welcome to Hello Monday. Today in the studio I am making a congrats card that could be used for graduation or getting a new job or when anybody accomplishes something awesome and you want to celebrate it. And I'm going to be using this really cool embossing folder I just got by Lifestyle Crafts. I love the sunburst and the rays bursting out from the center there on this. And I just want to emboss a piece of Nina Solar White with that. And I'll run that through my Big Shot machine and be right back. And then I'm going to trim it down to size because I'm going to layer it onto a card front. So I just wanted to trim off the excess up to the edges of the pattern that's embossed there on the front. And this will give me about a 1/8 inch margin all the way around. And I'm also going to be working with the new 6x6 papers by Studio Calico. This is the Atlantic collection, and I just went kind of nuts over it because it's a nautical theme, and everybody knows I'm kind of crazy for nautical. And I'm just going to trim that down so that the pattern there, it's got a chevron pattern. And I just want to make sure that my chevrons are balanced. I'm kind of crazy that way. I have to have things balanced visually there so it's not wonky. So I'll trim off those edges very quickly. And then I wanted to make a very shallow fishtail banner. And I don't have any dies to do that. So here's a kind of a cheater method of doing it that I learned from my good friend Sherry Carroll, who's brilliant. And what she does is she actually, well, she doesn't even use a pencil. She's so good, but you know what happens when I try to eyeball something. So she just cuts right up the middle, and I used a pencil mark because I knew I was going to end up being off if I tried to eyeball it. So then I'm going to just cut from those outer corners up to that pencil mark that I made. And there I will have a perfect fishtail banner. So isn't that slick? I just thought that was such a genius trick. And then I'm going to use this sentiment. It's a congrats sentiment from a great set by My Favorite Things. This has a whole bunch of greetings in there for gift cards, and it's such an awesome, useful set. And I just wanted to use the congrats there because it was stacked, and I knew it would fit inside one of my circle punches. So I'm going to go ahead and prep the black cardstock first with my Embossing Magic pouch, and this will eliminate any static electricity. And then I can go ahead and stamp with Versamark and heat emboss that image. I'm using Hero Art's white embossing powder. This is like my favorite white embossing powder in the whole wide world. It's just awesome because it melts so smoothly. It's got the perfect loft and detail and nice bright white. So we're going to heat that up with the heat tool and just make sure that you cover all the areas and you don't have any grainy, sandy looking spots. It's all nice and shiny and melted. And then I'm going to center that within my 1 3/4 inch punch. You could also use circle dies if you had those, or circle scissor if you want to use that. I also wanted to cut some accents from some POW glitter paper. I love this stuff. It is awesome. So I'm going to use the zigzag circle die by Sizzix, and I'm going to cut some strips using my guillotine trimmer there. And I probably should have made uniform strips when I was cutting them, but I just kind of eyeballed it. I knew they needed to be at least 1/4 inch wide. And then I'm going to mark a diagonal line there using my guide on my cutting mat and just cut that very quickly. And then I'm going to do that. I'm going to use it as a guide to trim off equal angled corners off the ends of all the strips. And then I wanted to make sure I had my strips the length I needed to across the edges of the card. So I need 2 long strips that span the 5.5 inch of the card. And I probably could have just trimmed them off with my paper trimmer, but I was like, oh no, let's do this just in case I'm off and my card isn't quite 5.5 inches, because I hate it when I'm too short. So I just thought, well, better be safe than sorry. And so I just matched them up to the card. So I'm just going to go around and make sure that I have 2 strips that are the length of the card and the height of the card. And then to miter the other end and have equal angles, I just folded those strips in half and then trimmed them off with my scissors. I didn't crease it because I didn't want a fold line there in the middle. I just matched up the ends so that I would have equal angles at both ends. And then all I need to do is put some adhesive around the edge of the card front. So I'm just going to go around the whole perimeter of the card and make sure I have a lot of adhesive going all around those edges. And then I can go ahead and take those strips that I've cut and start mounting them to the card front. So I'm going to start with the long edge on the front of the card. This is the front bottom edge of the card. And I'm going to go ahead and tuck those corners so that they're, the outer corners of the strips match the outer corners of the card. And then I'm just going to fit the rest of those strips right in because they're going to fit together because the corners have been mitered. So there it looks like I've got a very seamless panel. When I put my embossed piece on the front, it will look like I've actually covered that whole card front with PAL glitter paper, but I'm cheating. And I was a little bit off. I didn't quite get my angles, or my strips weren't all uniform, so I had a little bit of overhang. So that's okay. I can just flip that over and trim it off on the back because nobody's even going to know. They're not even going to see that. And then I can go ahead and take the embossed panel, and I'm going to coat this very well with adhesive, just wallpaper that sucker, because you want it to stick very firmly to the card front. And because it's been embossed, it's got lumpy, bumpy edges, and it'll pop up on you. So just make sure you put lots of adhesive on there to mount it very strongly to the card front. And there you can see it looks like I actually matted that whole card with PAL glitter paper, but you and I know the truth. I faked it. Now it's time to take my fishtail banner, and I need to determine just how long I want that to be. So I'm going to mark that off with a pencil, and then I can go ahead and trim it really quickly on my guillotine trimmer. So now it will be the perfect length, and I can go ahead and mount it. And I'm going to put quite a bit of adhesive there along the upper portion of the banner. I'm not so sure about the bottom. I'm not worried about that because I want it to be able to curl up in the end. So I just going to make sure I put plenty of adhesive along the upper portion of that banner. And then I'll go ahead and center that very carefully there over the top of the medallion. I know I'm kind of hiding that part of it, but really what I wanted was just the sun rays kind of bursting out. And then I'll take that zigzag circle that I already cut from the PAL glitter paper and mount that to the center of my banner. And that piece that I embossed, the congrats, is going to get 3D mounted over the top. And I decided that the card needed one more finishing touch, so I used this really cute set of star dies by My Favorite Things to die cut some stars from the remnant of PAL glitter paper that I had. And then I just took the solid ones and 3D mounted those to the card front to finish it off. And I think this is a really great combination of textures and pattern and color and just enough glitter to have some sparkle there and to tell somebody congratulations for a job well done. Thanks for watching.